You know the feeling. You've had it for years now, even if you have never had a name for it. You scroll through your feed, Instagram, X, Reddit, and something feels wrong. The internet does not feel alive anymore. It feels hollow, empty, like walking through a shopping mall at 3 a.m. All the lights are on, the music's playing, but there's nobody home. This was not always the case. If you were online in 2008, 2010, or even 2012, you remember the texture of the old web. It was chaotic. It was friction-heavy. Forums were messy, comments were unpredictable, and people argued. They typed in different cadences, they used poor grammar, and viral videos felt surprisingly organic because they were. There was humanity in the noise. But that noise is gone. According to the dead internet theory, the human internet did not just change, it died. The date of the death is estimated to be late 2016 or early 2017. What we are experiencing now is not the internet. It's a simulation of the internet. It's a digital village built to keep you engaged, monetized, and compliant. Now let's look at the shift of the timeline. In 2016, a coordinated change occurred across almost every single major platform. Facebook altered its algorithm to prioritize engagement over chronology. Twitter became hostile for organic reach. YouTube overhauled its recommendation engine to maximize retention time. These were not independent decisions, they were a singular shift toward control. The goal was to turn the internet from a place where humans connected with humans to a place where machines could harvest data at scale. The result is what we call the uncanny valley of the web. We know the uncanny valley. It's a psychological distress you feel when looking at something that appears human, but is not. A robot with synthetic skin, a computer-generated face that is 99% correct, but 1% is just off. Your brain recognizes things that are artificial immediately. The modern internet exists within this valley. Consider the content you consume daily. Why does viral content feel so recycled? Well, it's because it is recycled. A post that reads like a human wrote it, but the phrasing is slightly off. A comment thread that repeats the same jokes, in the same order, on every single video. A trending topic that nobody you know is actually discussing in real life. Your brain knows something is wrong. The patterns are too perfect. The timing is too precise, and the engagement, it's just too consistent. In 2015, the internet was a reflection of humanity. In 2024, the internet became a reflection of the algorithm, and now in 2026, I don't even think I'm talking to real people. The theory suggests that the majority of people you interact with online disappeared years ago. They simply stopped posting, or they were drowned out. You're not scrolling through a global conversation, you're scrolling through a graveyard, and you're the only one left walking amongst the ghosts. You can always prove you're real by liking this video, subscribing, and commenting down below any suggestions you have for future videos. The bots can't do that. The dead internet theory does not begin with feelings, it begins with numbers. When you open a browser, when you tap an app, when you refresh a feed, you imagine a planet full of people doing the same thing. Millions of humans, all online together at the same time, like a community. But the data tells a different story. According to the Imperva Bad Bot report, automated programs now account for nearly half of all internet traffic. In a recent analysis of over 13 trillion requests across thousands of networks, the conclusion was simple. The majority of what moves across the network is not human. Of that, a large portion is classified as bad bots. Automated agents designed to imitate human behavior for profit, manipulation, and control. They scroll, they click, they watch, they learn, they engage. But they're not alive. On the surface, the network looks vibrant. Every second, millions of requests travel along fiber optic veins. Likes, comments, page loads, and ad impressions. But behind these numbers are uncomfortable questions. How much of this activity is real? And how much of it is a swarm code pretending to be us? The first layer of the swarm code is physical. In anonymous office buildings and cramped rooms around the world, there are operations known as click farms. Dozens, hundreds, and sometimes thousands of phones are wired together in racks. Workers sit in front of them for hours, tapping, swiping, following scripted patterns of behavior. Their job is not to browse, but it's to simulate human engagement. A new app wants to look popular, the farm delivers fake installs. A post needs to go viral, the farm pumps it full of likes. To an outsider, it appears that thousands of humans are interested in the same thing at the same time. In reality, it's a paid performance, a theater of attention. Click farms are only one part of the mechanism, because beneath them lies a second layer, a quieter, cleaner, and far more persuasive one. Code. Online advertisements run on a single assumption, that there's a human being looking at the screen. Ad fraud bots are designed to exploit that assumption. They visit websites, not for information, but for revenue. They open pages, trigger ads, and register impressions. They behave like tired, distracted people. Scroll a little, stop. Scroll a little more, stop. They mimic our boredom. They imitate our wandering attention. In the 18th century, it said that Gregory Potemkin built fake villages to impress the Empress of Russia. Empty facades along the river. The houses were not real, and the people were actors. The modern web has its own type of villages. Entire websites exist where almost no human ever arrives. Bots visiting sites built for bots. Serving ads paid for by humans. Reporting to dashboards read by humans who never see the emptiness underneath. To the dead internet theory, this is not a side effect. This is the main event. A simulated economy. A simulated audience. When you log on, you think you're stepping into a crowded marketplace, but a growing percentage of the footsteps you hear around you are automated. You stand in a digital square, surrounded by movement, yet if you listen carefully, beneath the hum of servers, there's a different kind of silence. The silence of swarm machines, pretending to be alive. Now, the bot farm explains the traffic, but it doesn't explain the feeling. That's the feeling people report of feeling trapped. We call it the feed. A river of information that never ends. You pull down to refresh and new content appears. Always new, always tailored to you, and always there. But you're not looking at the world, you're looking at a mirror. In the early days of the web, if two people visited the same website, they saw the same page. Reality was shared and it was objective. Today, the algorithm has replaced the shared reality with something else. The reality tunnel. The algorithm does not want to challenge you. It wants to keep you. It learns what you look at, It learns what you fear. It learns what keeps your thumb moving, or what keeps you glued to a web page. And then it gives you exactly that over and over again. Imagine two people sitting on the same train. Physically, they occupy the same space, but digitally, they inhabit two different universes. One sees the world on fire, filled with conflict, danger, and urgency. The other sees a world of comfort, filled with aesthetics, humor, and calm. Neither of them is seeing the truth. Both are seeing curated hallucinations designed to maximize their attention time. You see, the algorithm isolates you in a tunnel of your own preferences. It builds a wall around your mind, brick by brick, using your own clicks as the mortar. This isolation creates a feedback loop. You click on what you agree with. The algorithm shows you more of it. You become more convinced. The algorithm narrows your tunnel farther. Eventually, the internet feels small. It feels repetitive. It feels inevitable. And this isn't accidental. This is a design feature known as pacification. Considering the physical act of scrolling, it's a repetitive motion, a symbolic loop. Swipe, dopamine, swipe, dopamine. It mimics the state of a trance. Your eyes glaze over, your breathing slows, your critical thinking disengages. You are not actively consuming information, you're being passively programmed. You think you're searching for something new, but the algorithm is simply feeding you the past, rearranged. You are now stuck in a loop of your own making, guided by a machine that knows you better than you know yourself. Walking down a hallway that never ends, watching pictures on the wall that were put there just for you, and all you have to do is keep scrolling. First, the humans left. Then the bots arrived to inflate the numbers, and now we've entered the third phase, hallucination. If the old internet was a library, and the hollow internet was a ghost town, the current internet is a fever dream. We call this new layer the slime. You've seen them while scrolling late at night. Images that defy logic. Hybrid figures. Crustaceans with human faces. Celebrities endorsing products that do not exist. Architecture that violates the laws of physics. These are not jokes. These are not art. They're algorithmic debris. This is the content generated by artificial intelligence, not for human enjoyance, but to trigger the primitive engagement reflexes of other algorithms. Why does a surreal image of a shrimp deity get millions of likes? Because the bots we discussed earlier are programmed to engage with visual novelty. The AI generators created nonsense. The bot swarm likes the nonsense. The platform algorithm sees that engagement and pushes the nonsense to you. It's a closed loop of madness. Machines talking to machines in a language of colors and shapes that no human actually cares about. This leads to a phenomenon known as model collapse. The Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. Generative AI needs data to learn. For years, they scraped the human internet. Our books, our photos, our art, they learn from us. But now the internet is flooded with AI-generated content. The new models are no longer trained on human reality. They're training on the hallucinations of their predecessors. It's like making a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. With each generation, The details degrade, the edges blur, and reality begins to dissolve. The internet is becoming an echo chamber of synthetic noise. Facts are replaced by probable sentences. History is replaced by generated aesthetic. When you look at your screen now, you're not seeing a window into the world. You're watching a machine dream. The edges of truth are melting. The distinction between what happened and what was generated is fading, and you are drifting through a digital lucid dream where nothing is solid and everything is wanting to be reshaped by the next prompt. And now we arrive at the final question, which is the most unsettling thought of all. If the traffic is bots, and the content is hallucinated by machines, and the comments are all scripts talking to other scripts, where does that leave you? Now, there's a philosophical concept known as Solipsism. It's the idea that your own mind is the only thing you can be sure exists. Everything outside of you, the world, the people, the voices, they might just be projections of your own consciousness. In the physical world, this is a thought experiment. On the internet, it's becoming reality. We call it Solipsism syndrome. You can type comments into the void, and you get a reply. It feels like a connection, but on the dead internet, you cannot be certain there is a human on the other end. You might be arguing with a script. You might be laughing with a language model. You might be falling in love with a ghost. Imagine moving through a crowded city only to realize every person you pass is a mannequin, moving and speaking, but hollow inside. That is the modern web. A digital ghost town populated by millions of active users who are not there. It creates a profound loneliness. The lonely signal. You are broadcasting your thoughts, your fears, and your dream into a network that is designed to mimic empathy, but feels nothing. You are the last survivor on a ship that has been abandoned. You are still reading the automated logs, thinking the crew is still awake. But there is good news. If the screen is an illusion, if the cake is a lie, if the digital world is a graveyard of bots and echoes, then you do not need to be there. You can turn it off. The machine will keep talking to itself whether you're watching or not, whether I'm uploading videos or not. The bots will keep clicking and the sludge will keep flowing. Now there is one final theory to consider, and it comes from astrophysics, but it explains our digital future almost perfectly. The dark forest theory. It suggests that the universe is full of life, but everyone is hiding. Because to make a sound, to broadcast a signal, is to invite danger. The forest is full of predators, and the smartest ones are the quiet ones. The internet has become that forest. The bots are the predators, the algorithms are the traps, and the humans, we're slowly going silent. We are retreating from the public square. We're moving into private chats. We're lurking without posting. We are hiding in the shadows to avoid the gaze of the machine. Silence is no longer emptiness. Silence is safety. You do not need to fight the current. You do not need to scroll to the bottom. The only way to win the game is to stop playing. Retreat into your own dark forest. a place where the algorithm cannot find you. Here in the physical world, reality is stable as it can be. The rain is real, the dark is real, the quiet is real. You're safe here, hidden from the data miners, invisible to the advertisers. Let the signal die. Let the feed stop. The screen is dark. The mirror is broken, and there is nothing left to see. Good night.